Sigmas, there's a hidden battle that no one talks about. A silent war fought behind closed doors, one that shaped the very core of who you are today. Have you ever wondered why you prefer solitude over crowds? Why deep connections feel like a distant dream? Why your mind is always calculating, analyzing, and staying 2 steps ahead? Picture this, a young boy different from the rest. He didn't crave attention. He wasn't the loudest in the room. He learned early on that the world isn't always kind to those who don't fit the mold. He watched, listened, and adapted. His childhood wasn't filled with carefree laughter. It was a battlefield of silent battle. Sigma males aren't born. They are forged in the fires of childhood trauma. And yet, no one talks about this. What if I told you that the very experiences that isolated you growing up are the same ones that made you powerful today? It's that your childhood struggles weren't weaknesses, but rather the foundation of your strength. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Your childhood trauma shaped you, but it does not define you. It's time to unpack the truth behind the silent pain of Sigma males and how it created the unstoppable force that you are today. Number 1, the early realization the world is not safe. Sigma males often develop an early awareness that the world is not a nurturing, welcoming place. Unlike extroverts who naturally trust the system, Sigmas remain observant, watching from the sidelines, analyzing patterns of manipulation, betrayal, and deceit. This isn't mere pessimism, it's an adaptive strategy. Many Sigmas grow up in environments where love and approval feel conditional. Perhaps you had to earn recognition through achievements rather than receiving unconditional support. Maybe you learned early on that vulnerability could be exploited rather than cherished, or you may have witnessed hypocrisy in authority figures, people who preached integrity but acted in self-interest. These experiences shape the Sigma mindset. Rather than blindly trusting social norms or institutions, Sigmas develop a keen sense of independence. They don't assume the world will catch them if they fall, so they build their own safety nets. This isn't to say Sigma males become bitter or withdrawn. Instead, they channel this awareness into self-reliance. While others seek validation from group, Sigmas master the art of walking alone. They understand that true security comes not from external approval, but from internal strength and competence. Psychologists often refer to this as an internal locus of control, the belief that one's destiny is shaped by personal effort rather than external forces. Studies show that individuals with this mindset tend to be more resilient, adaptable, and successful in unpredictable environments. While the world may not be a naturally welcoming place, Sigma males don't waste time lamenting this reality. They accept it, adapt, and thrive on their own terms. Instead of fighting for a place in the system, they create their own paths, living life by their own rules. Number 2, the lone wolf mentality, a defense mechanism. Unlike alphas who dominate and betas who conform, Sigmas withdraw. They don't seek validation, nor do they crave the approval of others. This isn't a conscious choice. It's a necessity shaped by their nature and experiences. As a child, maybe you were the quiet one in the family, the one who observed more than you spoke. While others competed for attention, you were content being an outsider, analyzing everything around you. Your silence wasn't shyness. It was strategy. In school, you may have been misunderstood. Teachers labeled you as aloof or too serious, unable to recognize that your mind was constantly processing ideas beyond the classroom. While other kids thrived in group activities, you found comfort in solitude. Not because you disliked people, but because you understood that most social interactions were surface level and exhausting. Friends came and went, but deep down, you always knew. While others relied on peer approval to shape their identity, you carved your own path. The lone wolf mentality wasn't just a preference, it was a response to an environment that failed to understand you. This solitude became your greatest strength. In a world driven by trends and herd mentality, your independence set you apart. Studies in psychology suggest that people who are comfortable being alone often develop higher levels of self-awareness, creativity, and resilience. Unlike those who fear solitude, you use it to your advantage to think, to create, and to refine your vision. Throughout history, some of the greatest minds, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, and even Steve Jobs, embraced the Sigma mindset. They didn't follow the crowd, they redefined it. And that's exactly what sets you apart. You're not just different, you're built to thrive in your own space, marching to the beat of your own drum, while the rest of the world plays follow the leader. 3. The pain of emotional self-sufficiency. Being independent is a powerful trait. It shows resilience, adaptability, and strength. But like anything, it has its price. From a young age, you learned that relying on others could lead to disappointment. Maybe you faced situations where help wasn't available, or perhaps you were taught that self-sufficiency was the ultimate goal. So you adapted. You built emotional walls, convinced yourself that vulnerability was a weakness, and mastered the art of doing everything on your own. This independence became your shield, but it also became your cage. You don't share emotions easily. Over time, expressing your thoughts and feelings started to feel unnecessary, even unnatural. Why open up when people might not understand, or worse, use it against you? You struggle with vulnerability. Trust doesn't come easily when you've spent years guarding yourself. The idea of depending on someone feels foreign, even risky. After all, you've handled life on your own. Why change that now? Relationships feel complicated. Deep down, there's a part of you that believes no one can truly understand you, that no one sees the world the way you do. This mindset creates distance, making connections feel exhausting instead of fulfilling. The very thing that protected you is also the thing that isolates you. Science backs this up. Studies show that strong social connections improve mental health, reduce stress, and even increase lifespan. Human beings are wired for connection. Independence is admirable, but interdependence, knowing when to stand alone and when to lean on others, is where true strength lies. Being open doesn't mean losing yourself. It means allowing the right people and learning that vulnerability isn't a weakness, but a bridge to deeper relationships. So ask yourself, are your walls protecting you, or are they keeping you from the life you truly want? Number 4, the hidden power of a Sigma male. Your childhood trauma may have been painful, but it also shaped you into someone truly extraordinary. While others may see hardship as a setback, you've turned it into an advantage, developing rare and powerful traits that set you apart from the rest. Unmatched observation skills. Growing up in unpredictable environments taught you to be hyper-aware. You don't just hear words, you analyze tone, body language, and subtle cues that others overlook. This ability allows you to read people with laser-like precision, sensing dishonesty, hidden motives, and emotional shifts before they even manifest. Psychologists call this heightened awareness hypervigilance, a common trait in those who faced adversity. But in your case, it's a superpower. You walk into a room and instantly assess the dynamics, knowing exactly who can be trusted and who can't. Independence. Your past forced you to rely on yourself. While many seek constant validation from groups, you learned early on that solitude isn't loneliness, it's strength. Unlike others who need a support system to make decisions, you trust your instinct. You're comfortable standing alone, thinking for yourself, and forging your own path. This trait aligns with the mindset of many self-made entrepreneurs and thinkers, people who didn't wait for approval, but created their own destiny. Mental fortitude. When life tested you, you didn't break, you adapted. The challenges that might paralyze others only made you more resilient. You handle stress better than most because hardship was your training ground. Studies in psychology suggest that people who overcome early adversity often develop higher emotional intelligence and problem-solving skills. When pressure mounts, you remain calm and composed, a trait that commands respect in any mysterious charisma. People are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand. Your ability to remain composed, unreadable, and unpredictable creates an aura of mystery. Unlike attention seekers who overshare, you reveal just enough to spark curiosity, making others gravitate toward you. Sigma males don't let trauma define them. They use it as fuel. While others dwell on the past, you extract its lessons, turning pain into power. And that is what makes you unstoppable. 5. Breaking free. Healing a growth trauma may have shaped you, but it doesn't have to define your future. Many Sigma males have walked through fire, facing rejection, betrayal, and hardship, But instead of letting those experiences break them, they've used them as fuel. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about refining who you already are. First, embrace the fact that you're different. Society often pressures people to conform, but Sigmas thrive outside the norm. Your independence and introspection are strengths, not flaws. History is filled with lone wolves who reshaped the world. Think Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein. They didn't fit in, and that's precisely why they stood out. Second, learn to trust selectively. Trauma may have made you cautious, but shutting everyone out only isolates you. True strength lies in discernment, knowing who is genuine and who is not. Just like a skilled chess player, you must be strategic with your alliances. Finally, recognize that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's power when used wisely. Emotional intelligence and self-awareness allow you to navigate relationships with precision. Even the most formidable warriors in history, from Miyamoto Musashi to Marcus Aurelius, understood the balance between resilience and openness. Your past gave you the tools, but how you wield them is entirely up to you. Will you let pain control you, or will you use it to forge an even stronger version of yourself? The choice is yours. Sigmas, if you've made it this far, you already know your journey is unlike any other. Your childhood may have been a battlefield, but you emerged as a warrior, not a victim. Now, here's your next move. Hit that like button and subscribe to join this community of elite minds. Let's continue refining the Sigma mentality together, applying it to our lives for impactful living. Having said this,